minutes are over in the first half. There has been some time for injuries, notably to Tommy Burns and to Paul McStay. Still 1-0 at Wembley for Liverpool, and 1-0 here at Hampden for Celtic, courtesy of Joe Miller. There's McStay towards Burns, and there's Mel Sterling, but the half-time whistle goes. Joe Miller has separated the teams with that goal in 41 minutes. It was a dreadful error by Gary Stevens. The first real clear chance of the first half. Stevens with the error. Joe Miller with a deadly finish. So the half-time score is Celtic 1, Rangers 0. And don't go away, we'll be right back with our studio panel right after this break.
World Cup final studio. They're having a breather out at Hampden, where it's very warm indeed, and the half-time score, as you've seen from the first half, which I think certainly was controversial in some parts, is Celtic 1, Rangers 0. And we'll be looking at some of these tackles in the first half, which prompted some interesting comments from both Ian St John and Jock Brown, and also one or two gaffes, I can tell you, here in the studio with Davy Provan and Sandy Jardine. It was a disappointing first half until the goal, really, it would have to be said to both of you, wasn't it?
Yes, the game never settled down. Both teams were pressuring very well, and with that all we got was people just kicking the ball up the park and chasing. And it wasn't until after the goal, which was late on, that things started to happen. Yes.
Let's have a look at it. And I think there was an interesting point that you both made here, was that the throw actually looked as if it was Rangers' throw.
Yes, at the time I thought it was Rangers' throw, but full marks to Celtic. They took a quick throw and caught them up the park. But having said that, Stevens makes a terrible back pass, and Joe Miller did terrific.
Well, it certainly was an interesting one, and Miller, as you said, way back, was in the right place at the right time, Davy.
Yeah, he's looked very sharp. I think we all expected the game to be fast, but really it hasn't slowed down at all since the word go. It's amazing how quick the game has been. Nobody has managed to get their foot on the ball and make any passes at all, and I think it was inevitable that if we were going to get a goal, it was going to be from a mistake, because neither side had been making any chances.
Yes. The remarkable thing was that within 60 seconds, Rangers very nearly equalised with their best chance of the match, and the Celtic seemed to be taking a breather, and away they went to the other end here.
Well, they say a team's most vulnerable when they've just scored, and Celtic at 6s and 7s there, and Mark Walters for the first time in the match having a good chance, and a great bit of defensive play by Derek White getting behind his goalkeeper.
It was quite amazing, Sandy, how quickly the game came to life. It really was remarkable, because the game was actually going nowhere, was it?
Well, it was basically getting bogged down, but as I say, the goal sometimes lets the nerves go. People then say, right, we've got to do it, we've got to go and try and get a goal now, and the other team's got to say we've got to go to hold and get the football going.
Well, there wasn't a lot of football in that first 40 minutes, and we've put together some of the challenges, some of the tackles, and there was some pretty hefty stuff going on, wasn't there? Much of it disappointing, much of it the kind of thing you don't really particularly want to see in a cup final.
Yeah, to be honest, I thought Richard Gough was very unlucky to get booked. Maybe the referee should have done things a wee bit before that. It's always easy to criticise the referee, but I think if he had done these things, the game wouldn't have went like that.
Yes. Yes, and the point was that the first 40 minutes was almost memorable for the number of hefty tackles like that.
That was a shocking tackle, that one. Mel Sterling very lucky. When you think that Richard Gough has been booked, really, I think Bob Valentine felt at the time that he had let a couple go that he should have punished, and he's booked Richard Gough for a pretty innocuous foul, and then he's let that one from Mel Sterling go. Really, Bob Valentine, I've seen him having better games.
Sandy, what do you think of it so far in that respect?
I think basically the referee could have clamped down on a couple of tackles early on.
Right, well, we'll see how the second half goes. We're going to take a break. Rejoin us here for the whole of the second half in a couple of minutes. Welcome back to Scott Sports Scottish Cup Final. Interesting speculation in the studio here from both Sandy Jardine and Davy Provan, who say that they think it's a certainty that Graham Souness will come on at some time in the second half. Well, we shall just have to wait and see. Referee Bob Valentine is about to get the second 45 minutes underway. Celtic lead by that shock Joe Miller goal just before half-time. It's 1-0 as we go back to Ian St John, and first the voice of Jock Brown.
Yes, the second half here at Hampden about to begin, and there are certainly hopes here at Hampden that the quality of play in the second half will be a great deal better than the disappointing fare produced in that first half. The match certainly coming to light after Joe Miller cashed in that Gary Stevens error. And there's the goal scorer, Joe Miller. The Rangers clearly will have had some thoughts about how to turn the tide the second period. Very interesting, of course, the thoughts about the possibility of Graham Souness coming on. He has to consider, of course, the possibility of extra time this afternoon too if he does come on, so he'll be weighing up, I've no doubt, how long he thinks he can last the pace. So turned away by Morris for a Rangers throw. Here's John Brown. Away from Grant. Trying to set up Ian Ferguson for a shot at goal. McGee back to McStay. Joe Miller drops back on the right touchline where he's so comfortable. Here's Grant. Good ball inside to McStay. Now Celtic putting some passes together. There's Tommy Barnes trying to link with Joe Miller. Now Stevens. White did well getting in front of McCoist. Well, even under that kind of pressure, McStay was trying to play football, losing out to Drinkle. Here's Gary Stevens trying to send McCoist through the middle. Good play by Morris. Fine covering play by the fullback.
You know, when Richard Gough picked the ball up there was not a movement at all from any Rangers player, so he had to really just pump it forward and hope for something happening. There's no movement of the Rangers players when somebody picks up the ball.
Monroe tackled by McStay. Back with John Brown. That's for Monroe to chase with Morris, but Morris has enough pace. Well, Stuart Monroe battling hard to settle into that unfamiliar role for him, a midfield marking role. Always full of energy and diligence, but finding it difficult to pin down Paul McStay. McGee, it's turned away by Butcher. Monroe's pass back. Celtic will undoubtedly be very determined to hold their lead in the opening 10 to 15 minutes of this half in particular. Well, McCoist managed to remain onside by doubling back with the Celtic defenders, but that meant the ball reached Pat Bonner before he could get to it. Back it goes to Stevens. There's Drinkle, tackled firmly by Grant. Peter Grant playing for the moment with one boot. Well, plays it forward, the chase is on, but McCoy has been elbowed off the ball by Mick McCarthy.
Now, I think that was a bookable offence because, you know, here's a player running through into the danger area and he gets an elbow in the face. I think the referee's very inconsistent this afternoon.
Well, it's Bob Valentine's last match in charge before retirement. Turned out to be a difficult one. A free kick to Rangers. McCoy certainly a hot handful for Mick McCarthy when he makes these runs from deep positions. There's Walters playing it towards Butcher. A collision between Butcher and McCarthy. Butcher clearly thinks he was fouled, but certainly with the collision didn't appear to be a great deal in it. So Mick McCarthy has survived that little onslaught. And Pat Bonner in no great hurry about the goal kick, keen to settle play down for his team. Aiken's header, there's John Brown. Miller and Butcher go for the ball. Neither could reach it in time. Celtic with the initiative with this throw, which Roy Aiken will take. Morris returns a chance for the cross. Brown was in the way, and Celtic have a corner kick. So lots of movement inside that penalty area as Tommy Burns places the ball for the corner. Right to the far post, Woods looks in trouble. And McCarthy challenged all the way there by Terry Butcher, and just as well, because Chris Woods appeared to be caught in two minds. Started to come and then changed his mind. Here's Joe Miller taking that flick from McGee, robbed by Stevens. Getting off the head of Morris. McCarthy did well, but this is Ian Ferguson. Fine header to Walters. Still Mark Walters. There's McCoist. Challenged by McCarthy. McCoist got caught off balance. Well, they appear to think about taking a dive, Ali McCoist. This pass came from Walters, a good one at that. There was McCoist. Couldn't control it. Headed down by McGee. Morris lofting it forward. Up goes McGee with Butcher, who wins it. Drinkle gets his head to the ball. There's Rogan. And the pass back saved there by Pat Bonner. Good piece of goalkeeping. Certainly hasn't been called upon to produce too much by way of heroics this afternoon so far, Pat Bonner. Brown getting above Roy Aiken. There's Paul McStay. Finding Rogan in space. McStay wants it back. Burns. That was intended for Grant. It's collected though by Drinkle. Now Walters. Celtic always have two men there. This time it's Morris and Grant. And a late challenge by Brown, and Peter Grant withstood that, and it's Celtic on the break. Here's Joe Miller. McGee on the left, Morris on the right. Still Miller. Tried to do it himself perhaps. Robbed by Goff, and Stevens steps in. Good defending there by Richard Goff, standing his ground, facing his opponent, not diving into any rash tackle. Well, Graham Souness now warming up. We may see him before very long. Going behind Pat Bonner's goal where the Rangers fans are congregated. Ferguson to Stevens. McCoy's trying to reach that, but it will run for a goal kick. This Morris settling in well after his recent appendix operation. Very quick recovery. Pat Bonner's view of the playing field. Played back well by Morris. No mistake there. Pat Bonner looking downfield at Celtic fans facing him. So towards Tommy Burns. Sterling. Well tackled by Burns. And the linesman says a throw to Celtic. The referee accepts that verdict. Butcher's header. There's Butcher. And Stevens. There's a bit of anxiety when he sends balls back to the goalkeeper after the error in the first half. McCarthy's header. There's Miller with a good header wide to Roy Aitken. It's Chris Morris. Aitken still there in support. Walters making the tackle. A beautiful play there by Paul McStay. He's brought down by Walters. Well, the man displaying the most skill undoubtedly this afternoon is Paul McStay of Celtic. Consistently involved in the play, not afraid to demonstrate his excellent close control and his passing ability. Free kick will be taken by Chris Morris. Headed away by Stevens. There's Aitken with Walters. McStay down to Morris. Aitken to McStay. The offside flag is up against Paul McStay. Linesman Bob Mullen from Kirkcaldy taking a little bit of stick from Roy Aitken and Paul McStay about that.
Certainly didn't look an offside decision from up here, Jock.
An awkward one for McCarthy, did just enough to ease the ball back to Bonner.
I'm just wondering how Rangers are going to get back into this game, because they don't look as if they're going to carve out any chances. It may have to be a mistake by a Celtic defender or whatever to allow them in.
Butcher through the middle. McCoy appeared to be impeded there by Derek White. The referee saw no deliberate intention there. Perhaps felt that McCoy's run into White. So Davy Cooper now getting instructions from Graham Souness. Clearly going to join the action very soon. Brown's hurried clearance. And here's the change. Off goes Mel Sterland and on comes Davy Cooper. That'll mean some reorganisation of the Rangers formation, I think. Sterling goes off, and Davy Cooper, who is the only survivor of the Rangers team which won the Cup in 1981 against Dundee United, comes on. McGee playing it back for McStay. This is Grant. Now Morris. Celtic settling to a better possession game in the second half. Knocker bounce beating Butcher. There's McGee. Now Chris Morris. Back it goes to Grant. The tackle was by Stevens. There's Paul McStay. And there was an offside flag up against Peter Grant. But some superb football again from Celtic. McGee playing it into Morris. He pulled it back for Grant. Stevens did well with that tackle. And then Paul McStay set up the shot for himself, but sent it wide of target. Joe Miller to Rogan. Signs now that Celtic are growing in confidence. Here's Tommy Burns striding forward, bundled down by Goff. Almost impossible to hear the whistle in this bedlam. And a free kick it is. And that positive run from Tommy Burns causing all sorts of problems for the Rangers rearguard. Well, Celtic looking more and more impressive now as the game wears on. Looking for a second goal, which would make life extremely difficult for Rangers. Chris Morris, the dead ball expert, waiting. The wall did its job. It's back with Burns, challenged by Walters. And the throw goes to Rangers. Headed away by Rogan. Rangers have made some ground, still have possession. Rangers now with Walters on the right and Cooper on the left. Gary Butcher's header. Up goes White. Now Burns. Good pass to Grant, who took up good position. That's for McGee in the run, but the athleticism of Gary Stevens sorts that out for Rangers. McCarthy helping that back to Bonner. The 1 hour of the cup final gone. Celtic still leading by 1-0. The scorer Joe Miller in 41 minutes. And the latest position at Wembley is that Liverpool still lead by that John Aldridge goal in the opening minutes. Against Everton, they lead by 1-0. Here's Goff. Bonds goes back, challenged by Drinkle. Celtic's throw. Things looking good, Ian, for Celtic at this stage.
Well, they're much more composed. You know, when they get the ball, they're keeping a hold of it. They're playing a bit of football, and they thoroughly deserve now to be winning 1-0.
Very quiet, very aggressive going for that ball. Stevens wins it from McGee. Won by McCarthy, and a bit of elbowing by Kevin Drinkle, picked up by the referee. Celtic's free kick. McCarthy thinking about using Pat Bonner, then sees Ali McCoist in the way. Aikens the target. Got a touch on. Butcher into space on the Rangers left. There's McCarthy. Lobbed by Drinkle. McCarthy battling to get it back. Derek White gives him some help. Well, Derek White did well once again for Celtic, and he's had a good match in central defence.
He certainly has. He's very tidy. He's sweeping up around Big McCarthy. He's let McCarthy go for most of the stuff, and White is doing the tidying up.
Pat Bonner taking all the time he can about bringing the ball out. Just had it. Here's Davy Cooper picking out Stevens. Walters breaks on the right. Peter Grant causing problems for Stevens. Butcher to Goff. Well, Celtic will not be unhappy about this, keeping the ball in the Rangers' half.
So there was just no movement at all when Rangers picked the ball up. Everybody's just standing, looking at the player with the ball. You know, they desperately need somebody in the middle of the field there who can go and get the ball. I mean, Wilkins obviously would have been the ideal man today. Ferguson is not there, so he's missing. And Graham Souness, you know, the last card really that we've got to play. And I think Graham should get on there.
Well, Graham Souness still resisting the temptation to go on the field. A free kick now to Rangers, which Davy Cooper will take. Goff and Butcher waiting at the corner of the box. That's towards Goff. Back it goes to Walters. Bonner was down, is hooked back in by McCoist. Up goes McCarthy. It stays clearance. And here's Roy Aitken now surging out of defence. Stopped by Ian Ferguson. Well, the Celtic defence moving very dangerously there. No question about that. Rangers taking great encouragement from that burst of activity around Pat Bonner. And Mick McCarthy won a vital high ball in the 6-yard box in the midst of all that action. There's McCoist. Drinkle to Walters. Here's Davy Cooper. Blocked by McCarthy. Cooper content to accept the throw. Here's Walters. Nodded out by McCarthy. Grant and Ian Ferguson together. McStay with a pass towards Miller. Here's McStay again. That was intended for Chris Morris on the break. Well, suddenly Rangers have picked up the pace a little. Cooper's arrival has certainly done no harm at all. Here he goes again. Oh, brilliantly past Roy Aitken. That's towards Drinkall. Derek White was there. And Bonner coming all the way out to catch it. Well, that was very determined play by Pat Bonner, but what a great cross this is. Look at this ball from Cooper now. Drinkall had Ian Ferguson open on the penalty spot, and he looked for Ali McCoist, who was in fact adjudged offside.
As you say, Cooper at least has come on, and he's managed to find another blue jersey when he gets the ball. And that's just what Rangers have not been doing. They get it and they just give it away. And it takes a player of class like David Cooper and a player with experience to say, OK, let's try and keep a hold of this ball when we've got it.
Well, that's the impressive aerial shot again on Hampden. No activity just for the moment, while Paul McStay gets some treatment. Well, he certainly is a player, perhaps the player, most of all, that Celtic will want to keep on the field. Well, Grimson is doing the stretching exercises, which appear to indicate that he'll be involved in the play before very long. McStay back on his feet. Good leap there by Goff. This is Walters. Stevens goes outside him. Tackle came from Burns. It's a free kick, all right. Acknowledged by Burns instantly.
That's the first time we've seen Walters move to the right-hand side of the field, Jock, and you know, I don't think that's a bad ploy at all. I think if he stayed out there, we might get a bit of joy.
Butcher making a run in the box as Cooper lines up the free kick. Peter Grant will have to retreat a yard or two before this can be taken. There's John Brown with a header. Well, Rangers throwing everything at the Celtic defence now. Davy Cooper so deadly from these set pieces, and Brown did well but couldn't keep it under the bar. Pat Bonner with Celtic's goal kick. Deep into the Rangers half it goes, won by Goff. Stays pass intercepted by Brown, and McCoist is offside. Very eager indeed, Ali McCoist, to get at the Celtic defence.
But he's not really had a pass worthy of the name today, has he? To really get him going. I suppose it won by Walter.